Melania Trump has proudly signed off from her first foreign trip as First Lady before walking to Air Force One hand in hand with the president. In a rare speech for Mrs. Trump, the First Lady addressed U.S. military personnel at a naval base in Italy on Saturday afternoon ahead of the trip back to Washington with Donald Trump. The First Lady, dressed in a black custom-made Dolce Gabbana dress with button embellishments, said she would never forget the women and children she met during her 9 days on the road in Europe and the Middle East. The trip took the Trumps to Saudi Arabia, Israel, Belgium, and Italy, where Melania spent time with Pope Francis and at various children's hospitals. "It has been a great trip, and many strides have been made," Mrs. Trump said. "My husband worked very hard on behalf of our country, and I'm very proud of him. This trip has also been incredible for me as First Lady." The 47-year-old said she was honored and blessed to have been granted an audience with Pope Francis, and she shared stories of her time spent with sick children in various hospitals. She recalled meeting one specific boy at Vatican's Children's Hospital in Rome on Wednesday. "Just hours after leaving, a young boy I spent time with found out he had received a new heart donor. Receiving that news is a moment I will never forget, and I wish him a speedy recovery," she said. The First Lady also recalled drawing pictures with children in Brussels, and one child gave her a picture that said, "We are all the same. This trip for me has been very special, and I will never forget the women and children I met," she told the crowd. The First Lady also thanked the service members for sacrificing on behalf of the U.S. "I also want to take a moment to thank you all for the sacrifices you make on behalf of our country," she said. She says it's because of their selfless commitment and the sacrifices their families make that Americans are able to enjoy many freedoms. "To the families who endure time apart or constant time apart, your sacrifices do not go unnoticed." President Trump then took to the microphone, calling his maiden trip abroad a home run. He also vowed to overcome the threat of terrorism, saying recent terrorist attacks in Manchester, England and Egypt underscored the need for the U.S. to defeat terrorism and protect civilization. "Terrorism is a threat, bad threat to all of humanity," Trump said. "And together we will overcome this threat. We will win." The president's 5-stop trip has largely gone off without a major misstep and ended with the promise of an imminent decision on the much-discussed Paris Climate Accord. "I think we hit a home run, no matter where we are," Trump told the soldiers. He also touted his meetings with NATO members, adding, "We're behind NATO all the way." He reiterated a renewed commitment by NATO members to spend more on defense. It signed off on a 9-day trip abroad, during which Melania won the hearts of many across the Middle East and Europe. The First Lady was widely praised for her well-thought-out wardrobe choices, despite being criticized for stepping out in a colorful floral applique jacket by Dolce Gabbana that cost $51,000 in Sicily on Friday. The fashion choices of America's First Ladies are a long-standing source of public fascination, and Melania certainly got her taste of it from the moment she stepped off Air Force One in Saudi Arabia. Melania dressed conservatively for her arrival in Saudi Arabia, wearing a black, long-sleeved, high-necked, Stella McCartney pantsuit that resembled an abaya that Saudi women and female residents wear. Her attire during the 2-day visit hewed to the protocol for high-level female visitors: modest dress, longer sleeves, higher necklines, pants and long dresses. In Israel, the Trumps visited the Western Wall, the holiest site where Jews can pray. Donald Trump, who became the first U.S. president to visit the wall while in office, donned a yarmulke, a skull cap, which is customary. Melania donned white, a color considered by some Jews to be sacred. On Wednesday, Melania wore a black lace veil to the Vatican to meet Pope Francis. When a Vatican official handed her a rosary, the First Lady immediately gave it to the Pope to bless. She took off the veil when she went to meet patients at the Vatican's pediatric hospital Bambino Gesù. In Brussels, the First Lady opted for a leather skirt suit by a Belgian designer when she visited a children's hospital and met a group of NATO spouses for a museum tour. Her first outing in the Sicilian sunshine was in a colorful floral applique jacket by Italian fashion house Dolce & Gabbana that sells for $51,000. She then traded the statement coat for a shimmery, high-neck silver dress and equally sparkly $945 shoes by Dolce & Gabbana to attend a concert with Trump on Friday night.